Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Again, I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. Well, it's football season and we're all enjoying the games, whether we're there at the games or whether we're watching at home. Well, there's something that we could do better while we're watching, no matter where we are, and that is improve our posture. I'm here with Taylor Atkins, and we're going to talk a little bit about how perhaps you should be sitting, a little more erect, a little more purposefully when you're watching that game. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So are people having back pains and having issues from the way that we're watching football or watching TV? I should just say TV. I know everybody's not into football like some of us, but are people having issues because they're not sitting the right way?
Yeah, so there are a few studies out where there are about 65 million Americans that are dealing with low back pain in general. And on average, there's a couple of different studies that reference that we're spending at least 4 hours watching sports throughout the week. And the American College of Sports Medicine has found that we're watching about 9.5 hours of TV in a day.
Yeah, and some of us watch sports a lot more than that. I mean, there's
especially on the weekends.
There's a Thursday night game, there's college on Saturday, there's pros on Sunday and Monday. So some of us might be messing it up about 4 days a week.
Exactly. And NBA is back, so there's even more.
Exactly. Okay, so are there any small tips that maybe we could take home with us or take with us to these, games?
Yeah, so one of the main things is making sure that you have good supportive seating. So if you are sitting on bleachers or in the stands somewhere, try to have something where there's a back or a cushion, just to kind of make sure your weight is distributed evenly between your hips. And then make sure that your feet are kind of firmly on the ground instead of maybe propped up or stretched out in a weird position or anything like that. The second thing I would suggest would be making sure that you're moving around. So there's a couple of different sayings out there that we use in PT. One is motion is lotion. The other would be your best posture is your next posture. So if you notice that you've been sitting in the same position for a while, you may want to get up, move around, and just switch it up a little bit. Because sitting in the same spot over time is just going to get you stiffer and a lot more uncomfortable quicker.
Okay. Oh, see, now I'm getting excited because I thought you were going to give me hard stuff to do. But these are easy tips. These are things that I can move. Easy. Yeah, I can get with this stuff. So when we do these things, are we lessening the chance that we may have an injury or lessening the chance that we may have, like to your point, soreness in the lower back injury? How are we helping ourselves?
So you're helping yourself by just kind of minimizing the stiffness that you could potentially have. A lot of times we're stuck in the same position, whether you're stuck at your desk at work or stuck watching a game. That's not as ideal for your tissues, especially in the low back. That's kind of where we take the brunt of just prolonged positioning over time. So the idea is that you'll get up and move around and just kind of minimize that stiffness that can set in.
Okay. Now, is there anything that we're doing while we're sitting watching the game or whatever that is causing the stiffness, or is it just the lack of movement? Is the fact that we haven't moved the whole 5 hours or 4 hours of the game? What is it that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's more so the lack of movement, okay. Right? So, like I said, your best posture is your next posture. So if you're stuck sitting in the same place for 5 hours straight, your body is going to feel that just as much as if you went and ran for 5 hours straight. Just kind of the repetitive nature of any one activity is going to lead to more pain, discomfort, whatever. So it's ideal to just switch it up.
Okay. And okay, thank you for making it easy, saying just switch it up. But for your patients or for people that come in to see you, do you give them particular maybe stretches to do, or are you really just saying, you know what, I just want you to get up and move around. I just want you to not stay in that same position. How are you helping them to make the small steps to do better?
Yeah, there's a couple of different exercises that we can show. There's a seated spinal twist, a couple of different stretches for your hips and for your hamstrings. The next one is going to be standing. You're going to one foot in front of the other into a stride, and you're just going to bend your front knee. You should feel a stretch kind of across the front of the hip here. Good. And same thing, 15 to 30 second hold.
Awesome. Taylor, I got to say, some of those, stretches and movements are super duper easy. We could all do it. Thanks so much for coming on the show and helping us to keep moving, stay moving, and not to get bleacher butt.
No problem.
All right, guys. I know you've been watching sports as much as I have. I can't be the only one. Take the opportunity to do some of these stretches and move around a little bit. Just stay more active while you're watching the game. It might help you in the long run. Thanks so much for tuning in to this segment of Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back with more.